feels like the Supreme Court has dominated the headlines this week. In a matter of days, the court has handed down several major decisions that could shape immigration, elections, campaign finance, and presidential power for years to come. So let's talk about it. The biggest headline came when, in a 6-3 ruling, the Supreme Court upheld birthright citizenship, meaning that nearly all children born in the United States are still citizens under the 14th Amendment, regardless of Donald Trump and his administration attempting to wrestle that away from those people with that status. Clarence Thomas, noted conservative, and I'll leave it at that, reportedly wrote a 91-page dissent on that decision, expressing his displeasure with the ruling. 91 pages is a lot. I don't think I've ever written 91 pages in my life. How mad would you have to be to write 91 pages on a subject that you disagree with? Like, how much of a hater can you be? That's crazy.
That is crazy. And
91 pages?
Yeah, well, you know his wife wrote that.
Yeah, y'all won't say it, but I will, man. Clarence Thomas been a house nigga since he got in there, man.
The views and opinion of Eric on this specific situation absolutely reflect those of Dexter.
Absolutely, we all agree. The decision rejects President Trump's executive order, which was seeking to narrow that interpretation, and leaves in place more than a century of constitutional precedent. The court also ruled that states can continue counting mail-in ballots that arrive after Election Day as long as they are postmarked on time. Donald Trump's trying to get rid of that as well to tighten the electorate for this upcoming election. Dexter, you said something. That's why I was handing it off to you. Sorry.
No, I think I'm with him on that one.
No. If you vote, you vote. No matter if it's Roz late, if Louis DeJoy, who is no longer, I think, the postmaster, if he decides to hold things up, no, that's not going to work anymore. Another major ruling, the Supreme Court struck down. Yeah, he's out. The Supreme Court struck down federal limits on how much political parties can coordinate spending directly with their candidates. So basically, unlimited. Elon Musk can pay whatever candidate that he wants moving forward to get whatever result his money can finance.
You mean again? Because he's done that before.
Yeah, but now, there's no more limits. Before, I think he was fined for what he did the first time around because it did violate. But yeah, no fine anymore. Apparently, the Supreme Court says, your money's good here. Buy whatever you want. The court also expanded presidential authority over independent federal agencies, giving presidents broader power to remove agency leaders, which is what Donald Trump has been trying to do at the Federal Reserve. But at the same time, the justices did allow Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook to stay in her position, something that Donald Trump has been trying to force her out of, while her legal challenges continue. They also ruled that the Federal Reserve should remain independent of the president, so that the president doesn't have the power to manipulate the economy based on whatever he says.
So he can't build more ballrooms.
Exactly. And finally, one headline that turned out not to be true. NPR briefly reported that Justice Samuel Alito was retiring before retracting the story after the Supreme Court said that it was inaccurate. There has been no retirement announcement as of now, but still the report ignited speculation that's kind of been around for years. If Justice Alito were to retire during President Trump's term, Trump would have the opportunity to appoint a fourth justice to a lifetime position on the Supreme Court. But as of today, that's still hypothetical. It is concerning, though, that it was even brought up in the first place, because it means that it's probably imminent. Just because he hasn't announced it yet, NPR might have been ahead of the story, but it's highly likely that he's probably going to retire during Trump's term, which again would do that. So that's the Supreme Court. 5 major headlines, some affecting immigration, some affecting money in the bank, elections, some affecting the balance of power in Washington. Which of one of these developments do you think will end up having the biggest impact on the country? Is it birthright citizenship, the mail-in ballots, campaign finance, presidential power, or that upcoming vacancy on the Supreme Court. What do you guys think?
Would you want us to rank them, or just which one you
Just
think
which
is?
one do you think would be the biggest? Like, I don't even need you to rank them, honestly.
I think they're all.
To be honest with you,
Go ahead.
to be honest with you, all of them are important. But I think the Supreme Court one is got to be up there.
It's getting out of hand, right? For one president to basically nominate, so they have 9 members of the Supreme Court. Almost half of the Supreme Court was appointed by Donald Trump if this guy retracts.
My girl tried to hang on, man, but she couldn't, man. She tried.
Oh, Ruth.
Rest in peace to her, man. She tried to hang on because
I think her hanging on is part of the problem.
You know, she was around these a-hole judges, and she knew it was going to get bad. It was going to get bad. But I thought Supreme Court justices were judges for life. They were already for life, right?
They are, but you can retire. You
can retire, and when those ones are in there and they're like dying on the bench, it's kind of like you really should have stepped down because they could have appointed somebody younger into that position.
And that's exactly what it seems like Alito's about
that's
to
the
do.
reason why she wouldn't. That's the reason why she wouldn't step down, because she knew. Once she stepped down.
Well, she could have stepped down while she was still healthy, which is what Alito looks like he's about to do. You know, you're relatively healthy still, have your wits about you, but you're going to pass the baton and get another 30, 40 years out of that seat, because you're going to, Trump's going to appoint somebody that's going to align with whatever Alito was doing because he's a conservative.
Yep.
Yeah. So the game is being played.
The game is being played.
You think the Supreme Court is
citizenship stuff though? That's really scary to me that you would even like look at that, like you would even have an issue with that, because one of the things about this country is like if you're born here, you are an American, and the fact that you're even saying like, well, your parents weren't, so you're not, like that's really scary for like a lot of. I want to say us, but you ain't gonna be able to pinpoint where we came from. So there's nothing you can do about that. But I just think that's really scary when it's just like something that I think is like the fabric of the country. Like you're trying to rip that away now just because people don't look like you. Like that's bothersome. And it's also bothersome that people really believe that in their day-to-day lives, kids who are born here are affecting them. Like that's complete BS to me. That to me is like pure racism. Like if you have an issue with people being considered Americans, even though they were born here in America, you are racist.
I agree. Did you have any opinion on the 91-page dissent that Clarence Thomas wrote? Like the nerve of him, right?
You mean the House nigga? No, I don't really have nothing. He's just terrible, man.
Big week at the Supreme Court. I am though surprised that there was some semblance of sense. They did uphold it. So, and they did also uphold the mail-in ballots challenge as well. So there is a semblance of sense somewhere in the Supreme Court, despite party lines.
Yes, but also barely too when it came to that birthright. It wasn't like overwhelming, which I think it should have been.
Yeah, 6-3.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's to the point where Trump is deporting the parents and leaving the kids. So it's like it's bad. You know what I mean? It's like oh yeah, your parents don't want here, but you can stay, but they got to get out.
Yeah.